WBUR Podcasts, Boston.
I'm Daryl C. Murphy, and you're listening to The Common. Andrea, I have a question for you.
Go for it.
Tell me about the scariest moment you had on an airplane.
It actually happened over the summer. I was going to Puerto Rico with my mom. And, we took off. Everything was chilling. And about 20 minutes into the flight, the pilot comes on and he's like, "Ladies and gentlemen, we're experiencing a mechanical issue. So we're going to go back to the airport."
Oh, boy. Oof.
So that made my heart drop, We went back. There was no issue. We were back at the airport for a couple of hours. They were able to resolve it. We were able to take that same flight.
They put you back on the same plane. Oh, man.
Yeah, so it was really scary. And I think that initial announcement was scary as hell. But I think the flight to the destination on the same damn plane was scary the whole ride.
Heck yeah. I'd be out of my mind with terror. I ask you that because you are WBUR's brand new transportation reporter.
Mm-hmm.
Andrea Perdomo-Hernandez is in these streets reporting on transportation for the people. So first, congratulations.
Thank you.
Welcome to The Common. On this show, we talk a lot about transit, but today we're going to talk about air travel. So my first question for you is just overall, what's going on out there?
I think a lot of people have that same question, Daryl. Unfortunately, there's been a lot of headlines lately revolving planes and air travel and incidents on planes, some near misses or close calls, some crazy passenger activity on flights, crazy turbulence. It seems like every week there has been a story related to air travel that has made headlines.
Okay, so more specifically, talk to me about Logan Airport.
So across the country, there have been some close calls where planes have narrowly missed each other, in Honolulu, Austin, New York, and Boston had its day, unfortunately. At the end of February 27th, there was two planes that narrowly missed each other on the runway over at Logan. One was a private jet that was taking off, and the other one was a passenger plane, a JetBlue flight that had been cleared to land.
Yeah.
So as the JetBlue flight was coming down to land, he saw that Learjet, that private plane in the way, and he went right back up in the air. They did not collide, but it was a close call.
Yeah.
And about a week and change after, Logan was in the headlines again. This time there were two United planes that clipped each other at a gate.
I'm sorry, clipped each other?
Think about it as a fender-bender for planes.
Ugh, how did that happen?
So they were at the gate. One was backing out, and the wing just clipped the tail of the other. Again, no injuries there.
How big of a deal is this?
People in aviation, they take it really, really seriously. I've spoken with several experts who, when they broke it down to me, it makes sense. Out of all the modes of transportation that people have invented, it seems like aviation is the safest one by far.
Yep.
And it's a carefully orchestrated balance, right? We're thinking about passenger planes, but in the airspace, there's military planes, there's cargo planes, there's thousands of flights, 45,000 flights, passenger flights take place in this country every single day. That requires a very delicate balance. So when something like this happens, and although nobody was hurt, but the fact that somebody could have been, everyone is paying attention and trying to figure it out.
How unusual is it for these type of technical incidents to occur?
So the experts that I spoke to said that these types of things should never happen.
Mm-hmm.
And if they do, they should be a one-off of a one-off of a one-off.
Yeah.
So there was this one expert that I spoke to, and I asked him recently there's been 5 close calls nationally that have occurred at different airports across the country. Is that a concerning number? Does that make you raise your eyebrows? And this is what he had to say.
One raises my eyebrows. We see a few of these a year, but we've seen a higher number this year. And I don't know if anybody can say specifically why.
the guy that we just heard from, his name's John Cox, and that's concerning for him, and other aviation people who really want to see this mode of transportation be as safe as it possibly can.
Are there any theories about why we've had these incidents at Logan here, especially with them being so close together?
So the guy that we just heard from, he is the CEO of an aviation safety consulting firm. He's been a pilot for 5 decades, and he's really interested in what the Federal Aviation Administration and other federal investigations into this specific Logan incident show.
Yep.
Because it could be that there was like an interference in the radio. Maybe the person that took off without the clearance didn't hear that he was supposed to hold back.
Mm-hmm.
And with the incident in Austin and at John F. Kennedy Airport in New York, there seems to have been a moment of miscommunication between the air traffic controller and the pilot. So what he's really interested in and what he's watching for is to see what comes out, like where was there a miscommunication? And are those miscommunications, is there like a similarity among those particular incidents?
We are going to take a quick break, but we'll be right back.
Did you kill Marlene Johnson?
I think you're one of the first people to have actually asked.
From WBUR and ZSP Media, this is Beyond All Repair, a new podcast about an unsolved murder that will leave you questioning everything.
Somebody should be in jail for murdering my sister.
A woman who's never been believed.
As long as they think I have done this, then they're not looking for who actually did this.
And that's what makes it a cold case.
No, it's a botched case.
And a search for the truth, once and for all.
Wow, it just gets more interesting.
Beyond All Repair. Listen and follow wherever you get your podcasts.
Be careful. You're digging in a place that's been very peaceful for a while.
Do it anyway. Dig.
And we're back. Is there any reason that our beloved airport might be prone to accidents or near accidents like we've been discussing?
So I've spoken to several aviation experts, and everyone that I've spoken to has said that Logan is a very tricky airport to navigate. So there's all these runways. There's like 6 of them, and they kind of crisscross with each other, looking a little bit like a tic-tac-toe board. So you've got people taking off and coming in using the same space. I think it was John Cox that said when you're flying into it, pilots tend to be hyper vigilant. And that's also true for air traffic control. They know that it's a tricky airport to navigate. So everyone's just kind of on hyper alert. So the FAA makes these diagrams of airport runways, and they show hotspots. And hotspots are these places on a runway that are more inclined to accidents or incursions. These are places where things are more likely to go down. And Logan has 4 such hotspots. And just to kind of put that into context for you, JFK had a similar close call with planes recently, and their diagram shows 0 hotspots. And the airport in Austin that also had a close call has only 1. So that means there's a lot of possibilities for things to go sideways at Logan. You know what I mean? It's a high traffic airport with that crisscross nature. It just really makes it tricky to navigate. So pilots know that they really need to be on their P's and Q's when they're coming in and out of Logan.
I'm kind of regretting doing this segment. I fly once a month, and now I'm going to be thinking about this every time I'm flying in and out of Logan.
Daryl, I spoke with some passengers, right? The very next day after those 2 United planes, made contact to kind of get a sense if people were feeling that same kind of like, that kind of eerie feeling that it seems like you're expressing right now. And some of the more frequent flyers weren't really fazed by this recent information. One of them was Deb Kennedy, who's a Cape Cod resident who I believe we have some tape from.
It's a little disturbing because there are so many right now. It seems like you never heard of this thing. And now we're hearing it weekly. Do I worry about it? No more than I worry about anything else regarding travel.
She seems to be handling it well.
There was another guy that I spoke to who he hadn't been on a plane for 5 years, and 71-year-old man from New Hampshire. And I asked him, like, was he feeling nervous?
A smidgen. Yeah, take your chances. I need to get to Florida.
Man, I want to be where he is. Okay, you're easing me a little bit. You're easing my anxieties a little bit. On a more serious note, there have been a few other air travel incidents recently that we didn't talk about here, like a disgruntled passenger who was arrested on a flight at Logan over the weekend. Also, there was a woman who passed away due to severe turbulence on a flight that was redirected to Connecticut. That happened last week. But as it relates to the issues we've covered during this conversation, could any of this lead to some improvements in the air travel experience?
Yes. So when I was trying to understand like what the federal investigation process entails and yields, while they are investigating this, it's my understanding from the experts that I've spoken to that when the final report comes out, there's going to be like a recommendation, either a new training that's going to come out to prevent these instances from happening. Mm-hmm. There might be an adjustment to like whatever rules and procedures they found out like didn't work in these instances. So not only will they be able to identify what exactly happened, there's going to be a remedy that's going to come from every single one of these instances.
Understood. Before we go, Andrea, I want to know what you're looking forward to as WBUR's new transportation reporter. What can we expect from you in the coming months?
Well, a lot of what I'm doing right now is playing catch up and understanding like how systems work. I'm particularly interested in like buses. We never had a car growing up, so that's how me and my mom got around. So I'm always really interested in like who has access to them, where do they go, can you really get to where you need to? So definitely buses, really interested in roads and infrastructure. This city is so old. This region is so old. So it's one of those things that has my interest. Like, how do you maintain these systems that have been around for hundreds of years? And what does that really take? And so, yeah, that's kind of like what I'm thinking about as I kind of get going in this role.
Well, Andrea, thank you so much for taking the time. It's an absolute pleasure. And once again, congratulations.
Great. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
That's WBUR's brand new transportation reporter, Andrea Perdomo-Hernandez. And that's our show for today. Thank you so much for listening to The Common. If you have any air travel stories you want to share with us, hit us up on Instagram, Twitter, or TikTok at WBUR The Common. You can also send us an email at thecommon@wbur.org. I'm Daryl C. Murphy, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.